Jon Jones has replied to Alex Pereira's challenge, and his response is sending shockwaves through the entire MMA community.
Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira.
Possibility. I mean, Rogan is pushing me right now to try to make that fight. It's just, guys, Jon Jones is a whole nother. I consider Jon Jones the greatest combat fighter of all time. Jon Jones is the nastiest dude ever in the history. And Jon's got a dark side to him, man. He shoots guns. Jon Jones is a killer.
Essa é a melhor aposta?
Não, queria super luta.
No, I want a super fight.
Oh, super fight at heavyweight.
I can think of one.
Wow,
name.
Derek Lewis. It's Aspinall, man.
Ó, não sei se, pô, Casa Branca, Jon Jones.
Jon Jones.
Super luta.
At the White House.
Jon Jones. That's a super fight.
All right, so
Why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Pereira walks around at like 240, and he has magnificent accolades. Business-wise, it makes more sense. Fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight the guy with all the accolades who's in.
Following his commanding win over Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 320, a performance that reaffirmed his reputation as one of the most dangerous strikers in the sport, Alex Pereira caught the attention of Jon Jones. In response, Jones delivered a cool, calculated message congratulating Pereira. True to his style, it was low on drama and trash talk, but packed with that signature quiet confidence that leaves fans wondering what's coming next.
This organization at this point.
Yeah, you know, people love him. People love the way he fights, and can't be bummed out with the way he performed this evening, so.
He seemed to tease that maybe he was going to call for a Jon Jones fight, but then kind of pulled it back after, learning about Arthur. Is him going to heavyweight something you would entertain at this point?
So today I was at work and had a bunch of meetings over there this afternoon, and I went over to the PI, and he was over in the PI. And I'm like, well, you're the last guy I expected to see here today. What are you doing here? And they're telling me, we want to fight at heavyweight. I said, how about we win tonight and focus on tonight, and then we could talk about, heavyweight. And I don't know. There's still fights here in this division, but we'll see. I mean, this guy has been an absolute stud for us. He's on vacation in Australia, flies over and fights because, somebody fell out. He fights when he's hurt. He doesn't care. He wants to fight everybody. He wants to move up to heavyweight.
Oi! Oh! Take your time. Yep. Find your shots. Find your shots. Damn! That's all he had to do, guys. That's all he had to do the first time they fought. Alex Pereira to give him an opportunity to actually get into the fight. Ta-da! 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 He's getting kicked. Fraud checked? Oh, come on, boys. Stop with the fraud check. He finished it too early for my parlay. Sorry. That was probably the shortest title reign. No, I think GSP. I think Matt Serra was. Chama's back, boys. Chama's back. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I would fight Yuri Prohaska, then fight maybe the winner of Sorgan and Tom Aspinall and be done. Just be done.
Because if you're a real fight fan, you know what the fight of the era is that we need to see. Alex Pereira's got to move up. If Tom Aspinall defeats Cyril Gane at UFC 321 by KO in the first round as well, just to add some extra hype, Alex Pereira's got to move up to heavyweight and try for a third belt at the White House in 2026. Him versus Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira at the White House, June 2026, International Fight Week. Third belt for Alex Pereira on the line. Potential GOAT status for Alex Pereira on the line as well. Tom Aspinall gets the super fight. This is the fight of the modern era of combat sports. Alex Pereira.
Fans are now buzzing with speculation that Jones's quiet response may have spoken volumes. Not only did he recognize Pereira's victory, but reports suggest he's back in training. It's also well known that Jon has previously hinted that if he makes a return, he'd prefer to go up against Alex Pereira rather than Tom Aspinall.
What is your hesitation about him going up to heavyweight? He's mentioned it a few times in the past. He always wanted that Jon Jones fight. I understand why maybe that fight wasn't appealing to you, but what is your reservations about sending him to heavyweight at this point?
Probably that he was a middleweight. He was a middleweight, and he's going to jump up 2 weight classes in the UFC. It's not like jumping up 2 weight classes in boxing. It's a big jump. Not that I have any reservations about it. I mean, the guy is he's in a division that there's still some interesting fights. I don't know. It's just, I like the guy so much. We'll see. We'll have to talk about it. I just don't see why, unless he wants to retire, why throwing him in at heavyweight makes any sense. Other than I just end up saying he wants to do it so bad. I'll just say yes. I don't know.
They're all there behind the cage, just staring, just looking, all being very, very serious, very scary and very intimidating. Well, it obviously worked because Magomed Ankalaev just got flatlined, smoked, destroyed, beaten in 1 minute, 20 seconds. Now, all the talk of him coming in at 40%, maybe there was a little truth to that. I mean, we did talk about him being a little burnt out. We did talk about the schedule that he was on, which was kind of crazy, and certainly it looked like it did catch up to him in his last fight against Magomed Ankalaev. But he was right. There isn't going to be a third match. There isn't going to be a rubber match. Absolutely no way. Alex Pereira now is going to go into new challenges. If Magomed made it competitive, then maybe there would have been a talk of a third match, but it wasn't competitive. It was completely one-sided. It was one of the most vicious beatdowns we've ever seen. Alex Pereira now is a 3-time UFC champion. No UFC champion has ever lost a belt like that and then came back and got it in quick fashion and made it that easy. No champion's ever done that before, losing the belt and coming back again like that. And then when you look here at the record of Alex Pereira and what he's achieved, Joe Rogan and DC, they were talking about this all night, but it is insane.
For one whole round and then a little bit of the second. And I felt like if I went back and did that again, I feel like I would do it differently. He had 25 minutes of content with the educated striking game that he has. I wasn't surprised that he pushed him back. I was surprised that he ran into the fire like that because he usually kind of starts slow.
They're now 1-1. If we were to accept what happened in the previous fight, we would be discussing a trilogy. We're not. We're even looking at Prohaska, who's 0-2, who got beat up for 2 rounds tonight. We're discussing that he goes in. The reason I share that, while we did not ask for this fight, Dana White said, I want the 2 right guys to fight. These are the 2 right guys. Dana himself saw something that he thought perhaps wasn't right, and we get this rematch, and all of a sudden Pierre goes out and delivers what he says. As the older fighter, I can't tell you a time off the top of my head where an older fighter came
a 3-division world champion for the first time. And it's, look, Tom Aspinall is a large obstacle. That's a giant man that is never going to make middleweight, never going to make light heavyweight. That is a true heavyweight.
Tom Aspinall couldn't make 225.
No.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Because he's ripped at 255.
Yeah.
So
that's a real heavyweight.
I'd like to see him fight again at 205. I got to be honest, man. I kind of like the guy that dominates a little bit, especially when it looks like that.
But it looks like that. I mean, that was revenge.
Well, Yuri Prohaska has fought Alex Pereira twice. So in our fighter meeting, when we talk about Ankalaev, that would have been a fresh matchup, whereas Carlos Ulberg has not fought him, so maybe he has the inside lane.
Well, Ulberg versus Yuri for an eliminator,
or for a vacant belt if
Poatan's
doing his
if
thing.
Poatan decides to go up, look, he's 38 years old too. At a certain point in time, he's going to be done with this, and it's not. We got to appreciate him now because he doesn't have 10 years left. I mean, it's just. Heavyweights can fight a little longer, but 41, 42.
Hey man, let me tell you something. Fighting in there at 41, it ain't fun. It ain't fun at 41. I'm telling you, I don't care how good you are.
But we said a year ago when we talked about Pereira, he's only been in the UFC 3 years, and now we sit here. He still has less than 4 years on the roster.
Why? Because Pereira symbolizes legacy, a potential super fight that could bridge 2 dominant eras, one led by Jon Jones, the other by Poatan. And this isn't just another call-out from Pereira. He's aiming for the biggest platform possible, a UFC event at the White House.
I mean, ever since he came to this sport, there was a lot of hype, and he lived up to that in so many ways. He became the middleweight champion, now the light heavyweight champion, not once, but twice, and he just got revenge over Magomed Ankalaev in 1 minute, 20 seconds. Gone in 80 seconds, okay? But it's the way that he did it that was so impressive. He said that he was 40% last time. I'll be honest, I kind of scoffed at that because fighters are never 100%. I mean, for crying out loud, I fought the back end of my career with one eye and a ton of other injuries, okay? Fighters are never 100%, so it did sound like some excuses were being made. However, he clearly was burnt out. He clearly wasn't the best version of himself. Or maybe he just had a fantastic performance, okay? Right? Regardless, he smokes Magomed Ankalaev. So the question is, what's next? Now, of course, he wants to go to heavyweight. Dana White said that he's saw him at the Performance Institute on Friday. He told Dana face-to-face he wants to go to heavyweight, and you would assume that by going to heavyweight, he would mean wanting the winner of Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, which goes down in just a couple of weeks. But that's not what he wants. He wants to take on Jon Jones at the White House, the greatest of all time, depending on who you ask, of course. We're not getting into that whole debate, but that's what Pereira wants. Now, I will say this, the man should be afforded some wild opportunities. What he did, the way he came back, the way he thrills audiences, the knockouts that he's had, the career that he's had, the impact that he's made on this sport, and the fan base that will once again be behind him is immense, okay? So I say give the man some fun fights. Yes, of course, there is Carlos Ulberg out there, and there is Yuri Prohaska. Yuri, I could not be a bigger fan of that guy. I love that guy, but he's been beaten by Alex twice. I hate to say it, I don't think the outcome would be much different. Carlos Ulberg, yeah, sure. Make him fight Carlos Ulberg, probably beat Carlos Ulberg, because it'll be a kickboxing match. Ulberg's not going to shoot a double leg takedown. He's not all of a sudden going to turn into a Dagestani wrestler that he just beat, by the way, in 1 minute, 20 seconds. He would probably beat Carlos Ulberg as well. So what do you do with him? Well, you give him something fun, okay? There is Jon Jones at the White House. However, Dana's already said he's not going to put Jon Jones on at the White House because he needs people that he can trust. And of course, it's looking like Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler is going to be the main event. McGregor's out there talking about it, announcing it, going on Fox Sports, saying that he is negotiating directly with the White House.
It ain't a negotiation. Wow. It's a done deal, signed, delivered.
So of course, Dana White refuted that last night. He said we're not even talking about contracts or anything like that.
We're still talking about the production and how everything's going to work at the White House. We have not started negotiating any fights.
Although I do expect McGregor to be on there versus Michael Chandler, which is crazy because we never thought that fight was going to happen. Jones versus Pereira, okay? I mean, that's a huge fight. That's a big fight that a lot of people would want to see. But what would you rather see? But the fight that I would rather see is Alex Pereira going up against Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gane. More than likely, Tom Aspinall.
Pereira, this is the build-up. This is the picture coming to life. The prophecy has been fulfilled. And once he does, fingers crossed, we need Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira for the undisputed heavyweight world championship live on pay-per-view at the White House in June 2026. Pereira gets a chance at 3 belts. Never done before. I know Dana's out here yapping about that. He doesn't want it to happen. He needs to get his fat bald head out of the fucking... Go promote boxing again. We don't need you. UFC fan page edits get me more hyped than anything the UFC puts out there in terms of promotion. We don't need you, you bald fuck. Get lost about he doesn't want to see Alex at heavyweight. Shut up. This is the biggest fight of the era. You need a White House main event, and this is it. Be there for the fight of the era. If Aspinall gets past Gane, especially, Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall is the matchup to make. And then we're talking. And now we're talking. That is the fight of the era. And I really badly want to see it. And I'm looking forward to it if it does happen. Tom, no pressure, buddy. It's all on you again. But you know what? We know Tom thrives under pressure, so I like it. I like that it's all on the line. I like that there's some super fight on the line that he didn't get with Jon Jones running away. And you know what I'm going to say as well? Untimely, because of what's just happened to him, Alex Pereira calls for a minute of silence for Arthur Jones. Rest in peace. But this is about Jon Jones. Alex Pereira is the light heavyweight GOAT of the UFC. I'm saying it as it is. I know there's DC that exists. But when it comes to light heavyweight things that he's done, Pereira's the light heavyweight GOAT. We don't need to count PED cheats in our GOAT list. All we would have to remove is Jon Jones and Anderson Silva. And we would have a completely perceivably natural GOAT list in our sport. We don't need to include these cheats. We really don't. Pereira has shown dominance. And when he's on form, he's unbeatable. One loss to Ankalaev at light heavyweight, but he's put in work. How good is Jan Blachowicz in hindsight? Jan Blachowicz. You know, Yuri Prohaska twice. Jamal Hill, not the greatest to win, but the way he does it, easy. Dispatch of him. Jones took OSP to a decision. You know what I mean? That was his easy one. Pereira dispatches him in the first round. Then he goes out there, loses to Ankalaev, it's tough, but beats Khalil, who's a great fighter. We saw that in the Yuri fight, had a great first 2 rounds. Beats Khalil, finishes him, steps up short notice, saves an event. gets the close loss to Ankalaev. He's been so active, he's been injured, all of this. People must have known that he really...
Following his devastating knockout victory over Ankalaev, Pereira didn't hold back, openly stating his desire to move up to heavyweight and challenge the man many call the GOAT, Jon Jones. The big question now is, will Jones accept? Dana White has expressed some hesitation, especially after Jones pulled out of the Tom Aspinall fight. Still, with the White House card shaping up to be the most historic UFC event ever, can the organization really pass on a potential showdown between Jones and Pereira? Fans are already imagining how epic that clash could be.
The champion, the belt is once again around your waist, but before we even talk about the fight, you're walking in a booth, you noticed that you were adjusting your foot inside the octagon. What really is going on there, and was this something before the fight, or did it happen in the...
Yeah, I think this time it broke for sure. It started turning purple super quickly. But, you know, when I was throwing those low kicks, I saw that they were landing. You know, he changed his stances after the third kick, which is something that he didn't do in the last fight. It's something that I saw Young Block did in the fight too. But as soon as I landed the first kick to his lead leg, I told myself.
You were aggressive really from the first moment on. Was the approach to go right at him, or was that something that you saw lead up to your breakthrough?
That was the plan in the first fight. You know, I wanted to go up and be aggressive. I told everyone I wasn't feeling well. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But, you know, I felt it, and I felt that it was going to happen. You know, even this morning we went to breakfast in Big Romania, and we saw one of the guys from Power Slap who we saw last time on fight day as well. He had just lost that night, and today he was there and he just won. So I thought to myself, man, you know, last time he had lost, I lost, now he won. So everything is coming together.
You're going to have... Do things feel different? You've won the title before. You've been the champion in 2 divisions. Is something else happening?
To make all those around me happy, you know, all my fans, I feel all the love. At the press conference, the fans won't even let my opponent talk. So I feel that, and I want to give people joy. And even in Brazil, sometimes people say, oh, I wasn't watching the UFC anymore until you came and stuff. So I feel it, and I want to give back to those people.
Well, you're certainly doing that, Alex. Now comes the part of my job that I have to do. That's always difficult because you just won the title once again. And we're already asking you about your next fight. But I talked to Carlos Ulberg and I talked to Yuri Prochazka after your fight. They both believe they're next in line. They both have their reasons for it. If you get to play matchmaker as the champion, when do you fight?
You know, like I said up there, I had a whole speech prepared, but we all know what happened to Jon Jones' brother. So it's not even right to talk about that. We'll talk about that later, but...
Pereira just absolutely ran through, and look, I was wrong. That's very, very, very impressive.
What were you impressed by in that sense?
I think that he made some good adjustments technically, where he was putting him on the back foot a lot more than he was in the first fight. The first fight, it looked like, oh, he looks like he might shed a tear there, Yuri Prochazka. What's going on there? Yeah, in the first fight, he was kind of like guessing what Ankalaev was going to do constantly. Whereas in this fight, in the rematch, Pereira's just constantly keeping him guessing, walking him backwards, making him feel threatened, and Ankalaev just couldn't even get anything off. So Pereira's back.
I always ask it, but does he move to heavyweight now, or does he fight Yuri, or what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm sure that's his decision. He's the champ. He can decide whatever he wants.
Do you think he should fight Ankalaev again? Maybe that as an option. Give it a trilogy.
I mean, I would watch Alex Pereira fight. I would watch any of them fight anybody, but I think that's pretty cool the way he's just come back and beat him again. See what he wants to do next. Dropped him with the right. Usually you'll see him drop him with the left hooks, but this time he big right one bomb over the top.
Jon Jones, the strategic genius, versus Alex Pereira, the ruthless striker. Two of the most feared fighters in MMA. It's wrestling and fight IQ against power, precision, and deadly timing. Some say Jones is too complete. Others believe Pereira's striking could be his downfall, especially if it stays on the feet. Pereira's rise has been legendary. Double champ, brutal finishes, and now eyeing heavyweight gold. If this fight happens, it could be the biggest UFC showdown in years. And with Jones training quietly in the background, maybe it's all leading to Pereira. When the GOAT goes silent, something big is coming.